The universe has not denied you. It has been preparing you. This sacred audiobook unveils the ancient law of universe, revealing that true manifestation is born from divine timing and inner ripeness. Listen closely. Your moment has finally arrived. The Law of Universe. Introduction. In the stillness between heartbeats, the universe lingers, listening, watching, and waiting for the soul to rise to its destined frequency. When that silent threshold is crossed, the hidden architecture of existence begins to reveal itself. The law of universe is the sacred map for those who have come to the gates of unseen realms, ready to remember what was once forgotten. Manifestation, as the ancients knew, is not a practice but a sacred unfolding, an invisible order etched into the fabric of reality itself. As you journey through these chapters, you will tread unseen paths, hear the whispers beneath the world's noise, and witness that it is not desire that summons miracles, but the ripeness of the soul. The universe has never denied you. It has shaped you, tempered you, prepared you. Every delay was a quiet alchemy, aligning your spirit with divine timing. What you once saw as resistance was protection, a veiled hand guiding you toward the moment when true power could safely blossom within. Through forgotten parables, sacred teachings wrapped in the cloth of simplicity, and ancient rites of remembrance, you will cross invisible thresholds. This wisdom, kept alive through the ages, is a living thread woven between your consciousness and the great cosmic design. You stand here now because you are ready to see, to remember, and to receive. The eternal laws you are about to rediscover are not outside of you. They were etched into your being from the moment your soul first breathed. They have lain dormant, like seeds dreaming beneath winter's frost, awaiting the warmth of your awakening. Open yourself to the secret currents flowing through all things, and step into the radiant unveiling of a universe that has whispered your name across the eons. Part 1. Awakening to the Invisible Currents. Chapter 1. The Whisper Beneath Reality. In a valley untouched by time, Eleanor wandered beneath ancient trees, her footsteps cushioned by fallen leaves. Though others saw only forest, she perceived something more, a whisper that danced between branches, carrying wisdom older than the woods themselves. Each morning, she would pause in a small clearing, allowing silence to envelop her until the whisper grew clear. The signs are always present, it seemed to say, for those who learn to listen. The universe speaks in patterns and signs, weaving messages through the fabric of your daily life. These cosmic communications surround you constantly, though they often go unnoticed in the rush of modern existence. Like Eleanor in the forest, you too are immersed in an ocean of divine guidance. The secret lies not in searching, but in stilling yourself enough to notice what has always been there. These patterns manifest in countless ways, in the recurring numbers that catch your eye, in the seemingly chance encounters that alter your path, in the quiet nudges that guide you toward or away from certain choices. The universe orchestrates these subtle symphonies not to test you, but to lead you toward your highest good. On a remote coastline, Walter tended his lighthouse with unwavering dedication. While others saw only darkness between sunset and dawn, he began noticing peculiar lights dancing across the waves, lights that appeared just before ships needed guidance through treacherous waters. At first, He dismissed these glimmers as tricks of tired eyes. Yet as he learned to trust these mysterious signals, they led him to save countless vessels from disaster. The lights, he realized, had always been there. He had simply needed to attune himself to their presence. Just as Walter's trust in these ethereal warnings grew stronger with each passing night, your own ability to perceive the universe's guidance strengthens with attention and acceptance. Those fleeting hunches, those inexplicable feelings of certainty, these are your lighthouse lights, guiding you through life's waters. Sacred practice, the whispers of silence. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Settle into a comfortable position and close your eyes. Allow your breath to slow naturally, each exhale carrying away the noise of daily life. As silence deepens around you, turn your awareness to the space between your thoughts. Notice the subtle sensations, the gentle pull of energy, the whispered knowing that exists beneath conscious thought. Remain here for several minutes, neither seeking nor resisting, simply observing the invisible currents that flow through and around you. This practice awakens your natural ability to perceive the universe's constant communication, revealing the guidance that has always surrounded you. Chapter 2. The Call of Readiness. In a small village where time moved like golden thread through a needle's eye, Margaret sat at her worn wooden table each dawn, stitching garments by candlelight. Though her hands knew their craft well, her heart had begun to pulse with an unfamiliar rhythm. Each morning, the sensation grew stronger, a gentle but persistent tugging, like an invisible thread pulling her toward something she could not name. You too have felt this stirring, this inexplicable knowing that something within you has shifted. The universe operates on the principle of vibrational alignment, a sacred law that governs when hidden truths reveal themselves. Just as a flower cannot bloom before its season, spiritual awakening unfolds according to the soul's readiness, not its wanting. This readiness manifests as a frequency, a subtle resonance that aligns your being with higher understanding. It arrives not through force or demand, but through an inner ripening that occurs in its own perfect timing. When you reach this threshold of readiness, the universe responds naturally, like water flowing downhill or light filling a darkened room. The signs of this alignment are gentle yet unmistakable, a deepening of inner peace, an unexplainable certainty, a willingness to release what no longer serves. These shifts occur beneath the surface of conscious thought, in the quiet spaces where soul meets spirit. In another village, Samuel the blacksmith began experiencing dreams filled with symbols he didn't understand. Night after night, visions of intricate patterns appeared in his sleep, their meaning just beyond his grasp. Rather than dismiss these dreams, he allowed them to rest in his heart, sensing they carried a message he would understand when the time was right. One morning, as he worked at his forge, the meaning suddenly became clear. The patterns were designs for tools unlike any he had seen before, tools that would transform his craft and benefit the entire village. Like Margaret's inner calling and Samuel's dreams, your own readiness speaks through subtle signals, persistent thoughts, recurring themes, unexpected inspirations. These are not random occurrences, but evidence of your vibrational alignment with deeper truth. Sacred practice, the journal of inner wisdom. Take your journal and find a quiet moment of solitude. On the page before you, Record any inner nudges, persistent thoughts, or inexplicable feelings that have visited you recently. Write about the times you heeded these subtle calls and what unfolded as a result. Also note the instances when you ignored these whispers. What held you back? What might have been trying to emerge? Let your writing flow without judgment, allowing patterns to reveal themselves. This practice helps attune you to the language of inner guidance, strengthening your recognition of when the universe is preparing you for revelation. Chapter 3. Silent Agreements with the Universe. In a workshop filled with the scent of freshly cut wood, Harold crafted furniture with gentle hands and a peaceful heart. Each morning, he would enter his workspace without grand plans or desperate hopes. Instead, he carried only a quiet certainty that his work would find its perfect home. Curiously, those who received his pieces often remarked how the furniture seemed made precisely for their needs, as though Harold had read their minds before they even knew they would seek his craft. You too make such agreements with the universe, though you may not recognize them. Every thought you hold consistently, every feeling you nurture regularly, becomes an unspoken contract with the cosmic forces that shape reality. These silent pacts operate beyond the realm of conscious striving, manifesting through the pure power of aligned belief. When you exist in harmony with your deepest truth, you need not force outcomes or manipulate circumstances. Your natural state of being becomes a magnetic force, drawing to you that which matches your inner atmosphere. This is not magic, but rather the operation of universal law, as constant as gravity, as reliable as the turning of the seasons. In the quiet corners of an old library, Agnes arranged books with mindful attention. She never announced her intentions aloud, yet patrons would often discover exactly the volume they needed, placed precisely where they would look. Without fanfare or declaration, Agnes held a simple knowing that wisdom finds its seeker. Through this silent understanding, she participated in countless moments of synchronicity, though she herself remained unaware of her role in this cosmic choreography. Your life at this moment reflects countless such agreements you have made with the universe. Each circumstance, relationship, and experience mirrors back to you the quality of your unconscious beliefs and expectations. These agreements were not signed with pen and paper, but with the invisible ink of your sustained thoughts and feelings. The power lies not in forcing new agreements, but in becoming aware of those you have already made. When you recognize these existing contracts, you gain the ability to consciously participate in their renewal or revision. Sacred practice, the mirror of agreements. Take a moment now to examine 3 areas of your life where your current reality reflects your unconscious agreements with the universe. Perhaps you'll notice how your relationships echo your deeper beliefs about love, how your work reflects your thoughts about value, or how your physical environment mirrors your inner state. Write these observations in your journal, noting not just the outer circumstances, but the inner beliefs that may have shaped them. This reflection reveals the subtle ways you have been co-creating with universal forces all along, opening the door to more conscious participation in this eternal dance. Chapter 4. The Gatekeeper, Within. In a garden shrouded by morning mist, young Clara stood before an ancient iron gate. Its metalwork bore patterns that seemed to shift and change whenever she looked away. Though she pulled at the heavy latch and pressed against the weathered bars, the gate remained steadfast. As twilight approached, Clara sank to the ground, exhausted from her efforts. Only then did she notice an inscription emerging in the fading light. The key lies not in the lock, but in the heart that seeks entry. You, too, stand before such a gate in your spiritual journey. The universe has placed within you an inner gatekeeper, a sacred aspect of consciousness that governs your readiness for higher wisdom. This guardian does not yield to force or cleverness, but responds only to authentic transformation. When you push against life's mysteries with the same self that created your limitations, you remain locked outside the garden of deeper understanding. The inner gatekeeper recognizes only truth, not what you wish to be true, but what you have become. It measures not your desires or intentions, but the vibrational reality of your being. This is why some doors remain closed despite your most fervent efforts, while others swing open with graceful ease. The gatekeeper awaits not your striving, but your becoming. In the mountains there lived a merchant named George who spent years searching for a legendary passage said to lead to untold wisdom. He studied maps, hired guides, and planned elaborate expeditions. Yet the passage eluded him until one stormy evening when, having abandoned his quest in exhaustion, he sheltered in a simple cave. As he sat in peaceful acceptance, the back wall of the cave dissolved before his eyes, revealing the very pathway he had so long pursued. Like Clara at the gate and George in his cave, you may find yourself standing before locked doors in life. Know that these barriers serve not to deny you, but to prepare you. They invite you to shed the self that cannot pass through, to become the one who naturally belongs on the other side. Sacred practice, the meeting of the gatekeeper. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Breathe deeply until your mind grows still. Imagine walking along a moonlit path until you reach an ancient gate. Notice its design, its energy, its presence. Before it stands your inner gatekeeper, neither friend nor foe, but a reflection of divine wisdom. Without words, feel what this guardian requires of you, what must shift within for the gate to open. Sit in silence with this knowing. Let the answer arise, not from thought, but from the depths of your being. Chapter 5. Signs You Are Awakening. In a small village among rolling hills, Beatrice taught at the local schoolhouse. Each morning, as she wrote lessons on the board, her eyes would drift to the clock precisely at 11:11. At night, she dreamed of soaring through star-filled skies, though she had never flown. These moments whispered of something greater stirring within her spirit. You, too, are surrounded by such sacred messages. The universe speaks not in thunderous proclamations, but through gentle repetitions that catch your attention. When your soul approaches readiness for transformation, the fabric of reality begins to shimmer with meaning. Numbers dance in unusual patterns, dreams carry fragments of future wisdom, and everyday moments pulse with significance. These signs emerge not by chance, but as reflections of your expanding consciousness. Just as a flower naturally turns toward the sun, your awakening awareness draws forth symbols and synchronicities aligned with your spiritual evolution. The universe's language becomes clearer not because it speaks more loudly, but because you have grown more attuned to its whispers. In a bustling market town, a merchant named Edward noticed peculiar patterns in his daily life. The same word would appear in 3 different conversations. A red bird would tap at his window before important meetings. At first, he dismissed these as mere coincidences. Yet, as he learned to trust these subtle guideposts, they led him to opportunities and connections that transformed his life's path. The signs appearing in your life carry messages meant uniquely for you. They speak in a language your soul recognizes, even when your mind cannot yet translate their meaning. Some appear as recurring numbers or symbols, others as unexpected encounters or dreams that linger. These are not random events, but breadcrumbs leading you toward your highest path. Sacred Practice, the Signs Journal. Obtain a notebook dedicated solely to recording the subtle messages appearing in your life. Each evening, write down any recurring numbers, unusual coincidences, meaningful dreams, or moments that seem to glow with special significance. Note not only what occurred, but how it felt in your body and spirit. Over time, patterns will emerge, revealing the unique symbolic language through which the universe communes with you. This practice honors the sacred dialogue already unfolding between your soul and the infinite. As you document these whispers, you strengthen your ability to recognize and interpret the guidance constantly flowing toward you. Let your journal become a living record of how the universe illuminates your path through signs and synchronicities perfectly crafted for your understanding. Chapter 6. Your First True Alignment. In the gentle light of dawn, Thomas walked his familiar fields, his calloused hands brushing against ripening wheat. Though he had traced these same paths countless times before, this morning felt different. As the rising sun painted the sky in hues of amber, an unmistakable knowing washed over him, clear as morning dew and certain as the seasons. Without doubt or deliberation, he understood it was time to plant something new. You recognize this feeling when truth arrives not through struggle or strain, but through a peaceful certainty that settles in your bones. True alignment with universal law manifests not as desperate wanting or forceful action, but as a quiet knowing that fills your entire being. These moments of crystal clarity arise when your vibration naturally matches the frequency of your desires. When you align with the universe's flow, manifestation becomes as natural as breathing. You need not push or pull at life's fabric, for you have become one with its weaving. This is the difference between forcing outcomes and allowing them to blossom through you. The first creates resistance, while the second invites grace. In a village far from Thomas's fields, Mabel kneaded dough in her small bakery. She had always followed traditional recipes, until one morning when inspiration flowed through her hands like water. Without measuring or questioning, she created something entirely new. The bread that emerged from her oven that day drew people from miles around, not because she had tried to make it special, but because she had surrendered to the creative force moving through her. Such is the nature of true manifestation. It flows from a place of inner harmony rather than outer striving. When your soul aligns with universal law, success follows as naturally as shadows follow light. You need not chase it, for it emerges organically from your state of being. The feeling of rightness you experience in these moments is your soul's recognition of divine timing. It is the signal that your inner vibration has matched the frequency of your desire, creating a natural bridge between intention and manifestation. Sacred practice, the alignment choice. Choose one small decision you must make today. Before acting, create a moment of stillness. Close your eyes and feel the energy of each possible choice. Notice which option resonates with a sense of peaceful rightness rather than urgent desire. Which choice feels like stepping into a stream rather than pushing against it? Make your decision from this place of aligned knowing rather than mental calculation. This practice strengthens your ability to distinguish between forced action and inspired movement. As you attune to the feeling of alignment in small choices, you develop the sensitivity needed for larger manifestations. Let each decision become an opportunity to align with the universe's natural flow rather than imposing your will upon it. Chapter 7. Dissolving the Veil of Doubt. In a quaint cottage at the edge of a misty valley, Dorothy tended her rose garden each morning. While others saw only thorny stems and closed buds, she spoke to her flowers as if their full blooms already graced the garden. Day after day, she nurtured what seemed lifeless to passing eyes, yet in her heart she saw crimson petals unfurling beneath the morning sun. You, like Dorothy, stand before the garden of your desires. The seeds of your dreams lie planted in fertile soil, yet the physical evidence of their manifestation remains hidden from view. This is where most falter, in the sacred space between planting and blooming. Doubt acts as a veil, obscuring the invisible processes of creation already in motion. The universe operates through absolute law. What you hold as truth in your inner garden must eventually manifest in your outer world. Doubt does not prevent manifestation. It merely delays the recognition of what already exists. When you water your garden with unwavering faith, reality has no choice but to reflect your inner certainty. In distant waters, a sailor named Leonard guided his vessel through starless nights. Though clouds obscured his celestial guides, he steered with complete assurance, feeling the pull of stars he could not see. Other sailors questioned his confidence, yet Leonard knew that the stars' absence from view did not negate their presence or influence. Night after night, his ship found safe harbor, guided by an inner compass that transcended physical sight. Your journey mirrors Leonard's navigation. The stars guiding you toward your desires exist whether or not your physical eyes perceive them. The universe has already answered your call. Your task is not to make manifestation happen, but to align your inner knowing with this truth. Sacred practice. Letter from your future self. Take a moment of solitude with pen and paper. Close your eyes and allow yourself to step into the energy of your desire fulfilled. Feel the reality of it in every cell of your being. Now, write a letter to your present self from this future version of you who has already received everything you now seek. Let your words flow from this place of completion. Detail the journey that led to your manifestation, speaking of challenges overcome and faith maintained. Write of the subtle shifts in consciousness that preceded physical change. Most importantly, infuse every word with the certainty of one who knows rather than hopes. This letter serves as a bridge between your current perception and the reality already waiting to be claimed. Read it daily, allowing its truth to dissolve the veil of doubt between you and your desires. Remember, just as Dorothy's roses bloomed in perfect time, your manifestations unfold according to divine law, not human timing. Chapter 8. The Sacred Pause Before Receiving. In a small cottage by the sea, Ruth sat each morning at her window, watching waves carry messages from distant shores. Her son had gone to war, and though months passed without word, she placed a fresh cup of tea across from her own each dawn, as if he might appear at any moment. Yet her waiting held no desperation, only a deep knowing that all messages arrive in their perfect time. The pause between sending forth your intention and witnessing its physical manifestation is not empty space to be endured. It is sacred ground where the universe weaves countless threads into the tapestry of your desire. Just as a seed requires darkness before it can break through soil into light, your manifestations require their own season of invisible growth. This divine pause serves as the workshop of creation. During this time, circumstances align, hearts prepare, and paths clear, all beyond your mortal sight. To rush this process is to interrupt the very forces working in your favor. Your role is not to force the timing, but to maintain the vibration of trust that attracted your desire in the first place. In a quiet corner of the city, James crafted timepieces with extraordinary care. His greatest work, a clock of unprecedented complexity, sat unfinished in his workshop for years. Though customers urged him to complete it, James understood that each gear and spring would reveal its proper place only when time itself decreed. One morning, without warning, the entire design became clear. The clock that emerged was far more magnificent than his original vision. Your manifestations follow this same natural law. The universe's timing operates with a precision far beyond human understanding. What appears as delay often serves as protection, preparation, or the arrangement of circumstances that will make your desire's arrival perfect rather than merely possible. James could have forced his clock together according to his limited vision. Ruth could have filled her days with worried letters and desperate prayers. Instead, they chose to honor the sacred pause, the space where divine orchestration works its quiet magic. Sacred practice, honoring divine timing. Each morning, speak these words with the certainty of one who understands the perfection of universal law. I trust the divine timing of my life. Every delay serves my highest good. While I wait, I know the universe orchestrates countless details on my behalf. My role is to maintain the vibration of certainty, knowing my desire manifests at exactly the right moment. I release the need to control when or how my manifestation appears. I rest in absolute trust, knowing that divine timing never fails. Repeat this affirmation whenever impatience arises, allowing each word to realign your energy with the perfect unfolding of universal law. Chapter 9. The Language of Readiness. In the depths of his workshop, Franklin toiled night after night, surrounded by half-finished inventions and scattered drawings. Yet his greatest discoveries came not from his conscious mind, but through the whispers of dreams. One evening, after wrestling with a particularly challenging mechanism, he dreamed of a spider weaving its web in moonlight. Upon waking, he understood the perfect design that had eluded him for months. You live in a universe that speaks constantly through the language of symbol and metaphor. Just as Franklin's spider revealed mechanical truth through natural design, your path toward manifestation appears in signs both subtle and profound. These messages arrive not in linear sequence, but in patterns that only your awakened consciousness can decode. The universe's language transcends ordinary communication. It speaks through repeated numbers that catch your eye, through animals that cross your path at significant moments, through fragments of overheard conversations that answer unspoken questions. Your readiness for manifestation reveals itself not through logical progression, but through a tapestry of synchronized events that whisper, "The time is now." Helen, an artist in a remote village, discovered this truth while preparing for her first exhibition. Each morning, she noticed butterflies gathering at her window. First one, then 3, then 7. In her garden, flowers bloomed out of season. A child gave her a drawing of stars that matched exactly the pattern she'd been dreaming of painting. Rather than dismiss these occurrences as coincidence, Helen recognized them as the universe's affirmation of her creative path. These signs surround you even now, the book that falls open to exactly the page you needed to read. The chance encounter that shifts your perspective, the recurring dream that points toward unexplored possibility. Each symbol carries a message crafted specifically for your soul's understanding. Your task is not to force meaning where none exists, but to cultivate the sensitivity that recognizes divine communication in its myriad forms. Just as Helen's butterflies heralded transformation, your own signs arrive perfectly tailored to your spiritual vocabulary. Sacred exercise. Understanding celestial signals. When you notice each meaningful sign, record your first gut response. What emotions or insights surface during your encounter? Consider how it connects to your present direction or deepest wishes. Have faith that your innate knowledge comprehends the cosmos communicating specifically with your soul. Keep in mind, heaven's guidance needs no elaborate decoding. Its significance echoes in the stillness of your deepest intuition. By engaging in this work, you enhance your capacity to interpret the mystical markers illuminating your path to creation. Chapter 10. The Portal of Faith. In a small village among ancient hills, Esther attended births by candlelight. Through decades of service, she learned that each new life entered the world according to its own divine timing. When complications arose, she would close her eyes and attune herself to an unseen presence that guided her hands with supernatural precision. You, too, must learn to navigate by this inner light. Faith is not merely belief in what cannot be seen. It is the recognition that the invisible realms hold greater power than the visible. When you stand at the threshold between what is known and what awaits revelation, faith becomes your bridge into expanded possibility. The universe operates through perfect order, though its workings often appear mysterious to earthly eyes. Just as Esther knew when to wait and when to act, your soul carries this same innate wisdom. Every step into uncertainty strengthens your connection to the invisible forces that orchestrate all of creation. Milton discovered this truth on a moonless night behind enemy lines. Cut off from his unit, he found himself in territory where one wrong move meant certain death. Instead of relying on maps or training, he surrendered to an inexplicable knowing that guided his steps. Each time he followed this silent prompting, he avoided danger unseen. Through complete trust in this inner compass, he navigated to safety through impossible odds. Your journey of manifestation requires this same absolute trust. The path ahead may not be visible to physical eyes, but your spirit knows the way. When you release the need for external validation and step fully into faith, you activate forces beyond ordinary comprehension. This invisible guidance system already operates in your life. Those moments when you knew without knowing how you knew, that was your soul's connection to universal intelligence. The times when you felt inexplicably drawn toward or away from a situation. That was your inner sight at work. Sacred practice. The portal of light. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and breathe deeply, allowing your awareness to settle into your body. Visualize before you a doorway filled with pure, radiant light. This portal represents your next level of spiritual readiness. Feel the energy emanating from this gateway. Notice any sensations, emotions, or knowings that arise as you stand before it. Take a moment to acknowledge any hesitation or fear about stepping through. When you feel ready, with complete trust, step through this portal of light. Experience the sensation of being bathed in divine radiance, transformed by its touch. Let this light reveal the expanded version of yourself that awaits on the other side. Remain in this space of elevated consciousness for several minutes, allowing the new energy to integrate fully into your being. Know that you carry this portal within you always, accessible whenever you choose to step into greater spiritual truth. Part 2. Entering the Sacred Dance of Creation. Chapter 11. Trusting the Unseen Builders. In a sunlit studio at the edge of town, Clifton sat before his drafting table each morning, waiting. Though his clients sought concrete plans, he knew the truest designs emerged not from the mind, but from a deeper well of inspiration. As his pencil hovered above pristine paper, he closed his eyes and allowed himself to feel the building's essence, its flow, its purpose, its spirit, before any lines were drawn. Only when the structure revealed itself in his inner vision would his hand begin to move. You too are called to trust in what assembles beyond your sight. The universe operates as a master architect, drawing together the elements of your desires with perfect precision. Just as a building exists first in formless potential before taking physical shape, your prayers set in motion forces that work tirelessly in realms beyond ordinary perception. When you plant a seed, you do not dig it up each day to check its progress. You trust in the mysterious alchemy of soil, water, and light to nurture its growth. Similarly, your desires are tended by unseen hands the moment you release them to divine care. Your role is not to orchestrate, but to allow. In her small shop filled with threads of every hue, Marjorie worked on a tapestry unlike any other. The pattern came to her in fragments, a color here, a texture there, glimpses of a greater design she could not fully grasp. Yet her hands moved with certainty, weaving together threads that seemed to choose themselves. Though she could not see the final image, she trusted each stitch drew her closer to its revelation. This is how co-creation with the universe unfolds. You need not see every step of the journey to trust in its perfect unfolding. Your desires are like threads being woven into the greater tapestry of existence. Though you may glimpse only portions of the pattern, universal forces see the complete design. The very act of surrender strengthens your partnership with these unseen forces. When you release your grip on how things must appear, you allow the universe to work through channels you could never have imagined. Your trust becomes the doorway through which miracles enter. Sacred practice. The gratitude bridge. Take a moment to connect with one deep desire you hold in your heart. Rather than focusing on its absence, sense how universal forces are already assembling its components in unseen realms. Feel the gratitude that naturally arises when you trust in this divine construction. Now, write a letter of thanks as if your desire has already manifested. Express your appreciation for specific details, allowing yourself to feel the reality of its completion. Date this letter from a future time when you are experiencing the fulfillment of this wish. Let your words build a bridge between present longing and future manifestation. Close by, acknowledging the perfect orchestration of universal forces working on your behalf. Your gratitude creates an energetic signature that attracts the very blessings you seek to receive. Chapter 12. Seeds planted in the unknown. In the depths of winter, when the earth lay dormant beneath a blanket of frost, Everett walked his fields with measured steps. In his weathered hands he carried seeds, tiny vessels of potential waiting to burst into life. Though the ground appeared barren and lifeless, he understood a profound truth. Beneath the surface, miracles were already stirring. You too must learn to trust in the invisible phase of manifestation. Just as a seed requires darkness before it can reach toward light, your desires first take root in realms unseen. The universe operates through natural laws that honor the sacred timing of emergence. Your role is not to force the shoot above ground, but to maintain unwavering faith in the process unfolding beneath. When you plant an intention in the fertile soil of consciousness, forces beyond your comprehension begin their work. Like the complex dance of minerals, moisture, and microorganisms that nurture a seed's awakening, cosmic energies orchestrate the perfect conditions for your desire's birth into reality. In a small classroom across town, Vera stood before her students. While others saw only struggling learners, she perceived the dormant genius within each child. Day after day, she planted seeds of confidence through gentle words and patient guidance. Though no visible changes appeared at first, she knew that deep within their hearts, these seeds of self-belief were slowly taking root. Just as Vera trusted in the invisible growth of her students' potential, you must honor the hidden germination of your own dreams. Each positive thought, each moment of gratitude, each declaration of faith. These are the nutrients that feed your manifestation as it develops in the spiritual soul of possibility. Remember, the mightiest oak begins as an acorn in darkness. Your desires follow this same divine pattern, requiring a period of gestation before they can break through into physical form. Trust in this process as naturally as you trust the seasons to turn. Sacred practice. The living metaphor. Select a seed, perhaps from a flower, herb, or vegetable. Hold it gently in your palm and speak aloud an intention close to your heart. As you plant this seed in soil, know that you are simultaneously planting your desire in the fertile ground of universal consciousness. Each day, tend to your growing plant with water and light. Let each act of nurturing represent your continued faith in the manifestation process. As you witness the seed's journey from darkness to light, allow it to remind you that your own desires are following their perfect course of unfoldment. Through this living metaphor, you forge a deeper connection with the natural laws of manifestation. Your plant becomes a physical anchor for the invisible work taking place in the spiritual realm, teaching you patience, trust, and the wisdom of divine timing. Chapter 13. The Mirror Principle. In the heart of a bustling marketplace, Alvin stood behind his counter, watching the ebb and flow of customers through his small shop. Over the years, he began to notice a peculiar pattern. When his heart felt light, his shop filled with cheerful patrons whose laughter echoed through the aisles. On days when worry clouded his thoughts, difficult customers seemed to materialize, their complaints matching his inner discord. You must understand that the world around you serves as a constant reflection of your inner state. Like a lake whose surface mirrors the sky above, your external reality can only reflect what exists within. This is not mere coincidence, but a fundamental law of the universe, one that operates with unwavering precision. Your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs create ripples in the fabric of existence. These vibrations attract corresponding experiences, drawing to you circumstances that match your inner frequency. When you harbor fear, the world appears threatening. When you cultivate peace, harmony flows naturally into your path. Consider Edith, whose dance performances captivated audiences not through technical perfection, but through the raw truth they revealed. In moments when self-doubt gripped her heart, her movements became rigid and constrained. Yet when she danced from a place of pure joy, her audiences wept at the beauty she channeled. Without speaking a word, her body told the story of her inner world. This mirror principle operates in every aspect of your life. Your relationships reflect your self-worth. Your financial situation mirrors your beliefs about abundance. Your health echoes your inner harmony or discord. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, constantly shows you yourself through the experiences it attracts. Sacred practice, the mirror of reality. Find a quiet space where you can remain undisturbed. Close your eyes and bring to mind 3 current situations in your life. For each circumstance, ask yourself, what inner state is this reflecting back to me? Perhaps a challenging relationship reveals unhealed wounds within yourself. A financial struggle might mirror hidden beliefs about scarcity. A physical ailment could reflect inner resistance or tension. Observe these reflections without judgment, understanding that awareness itself begins the transformation. As you polish the mirror of your consciousness, watch how the world around you shifts to reflect your renewed inner clarity. Through this practice, you begin to understand that external change follows internal transformation. The universe simply cannot help but reflect your inner light once you choose to let it shine. Chapter 14. The Echo of Belief. In the heart of an ancient city, Maurice tended to his clockmaker's shop, surrounded by the steady rhythm of countless timepieces. For years he had believed success meant constant struggle, and his business reflected this truth. Customers were scarce, and repairs brought meager earnings. One morning, as he adjusted the delicate gears of a grandfather clock, a thought crystallized in his mind. What if prosperity flows as naturally as time itself? From that moment, strange echoes began reverberating through his workshop. Each tick seemed to whisper possibilities he had never noticed before. Customers appeared with valuable antique timepieces. Opportunities arose to restore precious heirlooms for wealthy collectors. The more he embraced this new perspective, the louder these echoes of abundance grew. You must understand that your beliefs shape the very fabric of your reality. Like invisible architects, they construct the framework through which all experiences must flow. When you alter a belief, you initiate ripples that touch every corner of your existence. These ripples move through time and space, attracting circumstances that align with your new understanding. The universe responds not to your words or wishes, but to the unwavering certainty held in your heart. Consider Pearl, who found herself alone after 40 years of marriage. Her initial belief that life had ended with her husband's passing drew only shadows and silence. But when she dared to imagine a different story, one where new beginnings could bloom from endings, the world responded. A chance encounter led to a painting class, which awakened dormant talents. Her artwork began selling, creating not just income, but a community that celebrated her renaissance. The echoes of your beliefs reverberate through every moment, drawing to you experiences that validate your deepest convictions. When you shift a belief about worthiness, relationships transform. When you alter your thoughts about abundance, opportunities multiply. The universe cannot help but reflect back the truth you hold within. Sacred practice, the belief transformation. Take a moment now to write down one limiting belief that has shaped your reality. Perhaps it's success requires struggle, or good things don't last. Feel the weight this belief has carried in your life. Now, craft a new belief that resonates with your highest truth. Write it with intention, knowing these words will ripple through the fabric of your existence. Your new belief might be, "Success flows to me naturally," or "I attract lasting goodness effortlessly." Speak this new belief aloud each morning as the sun rises, letting its truth sink deep into your being. Watch as the universe begins echoing back this new frequency, bringing experiences that validate your transformed understanding. Chapter 15. Dreams as Divine Clues. In a time when wisdom flowed more freely between worlds, there lived a minstrel named Sylvester, who wandered from village to village sharing songs of ancient lore. Each night as he slept beneath the stars, visions would paint themselves across his dreaming mind. These were no ordinary dreams. They spoke of paths yet untrodden, of storms not yet gathered, of sanctuaries still hidden. One autumn evening, his dream showed him a bridge collapsing beneath thunder-dark skies. The next morning, rather than taking his usual route, he heeded the dream's warning and chose a mountain path instead. Later, he learned the bridge had indeed fallen during an unexpected tempest. Through such experiences, Sylvester came to understand that dreams were not mere shadows of the day's events, but sacred maps drawn by divine hands. You must recognize that your dreams arise from the marriage of your deepest self and the infinite wisdom of the universe. Each symbol, each scene, each emotion that visits you in the night carries messages meant to guide your journey. The veil between worlds grows thin in dreams, allowing truth to flow more freely. Your subconscious mind speaks in the language of symbols and metaphors, while your higher self communicates through intuitive knowing. When you learn to honor both, your dreams become a compass pointing toward your highest path. Consider Dorothea, a nurse who repeatedly dreamed of tending to wounded soldiers in a field of white lilies. Though she worked in a small village clinic, these dreams persisted, calling her toward something greater. When war broke out in a neighboring land, she recognized the scenes from her dreams and followed their guidance. Her medical skills proved invaluable in a field hospital where white lilies grow wild, exactly as her dreams had shown. Dreams weave together threads of past, present, and future, creating tapestries of meaning that your waking mind could never fabricate. They offer glimpses of potential futures, warnings of hidden dangers, and insights into your soul's deepest purpose. Sacred practice. The dream vessel. For the next 7 nights, place a journal and pen beside your bed. Before sleeping, speak these words silently. I open myself to receive the wisdom of my dreams. Let me remember and understand their sacred messages. Upon waking, immediately record every detail you recall: images, colors, emotions, words spoken, and the overall atmosphere of the dream. Write without judgment or interpretation, simply allowing the dream to flow through you onto the page. Note the date and any significant events from the previous day. Look for patterns, recurring symbols, or emotions that persist across multiple dreams. Trust that even seemingly nonsensical elements carry meaning waiting to be understood. Your dreams are letters from the divine, written in the ink of your soul's knowing. Through this practice, you will learn to read their sacred script and follow their guidance toward your highest path. Chapter 16. The Energetic Signature of Readiness. In a small workshop filled with half-finished inventions and scattered blueprints, Bernard spent countless hours seeking inspiration. His greatest breakthroughs always seemed to arrive not through force of will, but in moments of perfect inner harmony. One morning, after releasing his usual anxious pursuit of ideas, Bernard felt an unusual peace settle over him. In that state of calm alignment, solutions to mechanical puzzles that had eluded him for months suddenly appeared with crystal clarity. You must understand that your inner state broadcasts a continuous signal to the universe. When your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs align in harmony, you emit a pure frequency that attracts corresponding manifestations. This vibrational signature acts as a beacon, drawing to you exactly what matches your inner atmosphere. The universe responds not to what you demand, but to what you embody. Your readiness creates an energetic resonance that either opens or closes doors of possibility. This is why forcing solutions rarely succeeds, while allowing them to arise from a state of alignment brings effortless creation. Virginia, a concert pianist, discovered this truth through her music. For years, she played with technical perfection, but felt something was missing from her performances. One evening, after receiving news that filled her heart with joy, she sat at her piano and began to play. The music that flowed through her fingers that night touched listeners in ways her previous performances never had. Her inner harmony had transformed her outer expression, creating a new signature that others could feel. Your vibrational signature comprises every thought you think, every emotion you feel, and every belief you hold. When these elements align with your deepest truth, you become a clear channel through which the universe can work its magic. Like Bernard with his inventions or Virginia with her music, your state of being determines what can flow through you into manifestation. Sacred practice. Crafting your vibrational signature. Find a quiet moment each morning to connect with your highest vision of yourself. Write an affirmation that captures the essence of who you are becoming, not who you think you should be. Begin with the words, "I am," and let your heart guide the rest. This statement should feel true and resonant, even if it describes qualities you're still growing into. Speak this affirmation aloud 3 times while holding your hand over your heart. Feel each word vibrating through your being, adjusting your frequency to match its truth. Throughout the day, return to this affirmation whenever you need, to realign your energetic signature. Your words might be as simple as, "I am in perfect harmony with the universe's divine timing," or as specific as, "I am a clear channel for creative inspiration that serves the highest good." Remember, your vibrational signature is not something you create, but something you allow to emerge from your authentic self. Chapter 17. Sacred Detachment. Along the misty shores before dawn, Clarence prepared his nets with practiced hands. Other fishermen frantically raced to the best spots, casting their nets with desperate urgency. But Clarence moved with unhurried grace, his weathered face peaceful as he selected his position. "The fish know their way to my net," he would say with a quiet smile. Day after day, while others returned with meager catches despite their anxious efforts, Clarence's boat brimmed with abundance. You see, the universe responds not to the intensity of your grip, but to the certainty of your trust. When you pursue your desires with sacred detachment, you align with the natural flow of manifestation. This is not indifference, but rather a profound understanding that what is meant for you cannot miss you. Think of your intentions as birds. Hold them too tightly, and they struggle against your grasp. Open your hands, and they remain by choice, free to soar and return with gifts. This is the paradox of attraction. The less you clutch at outcomes, the more naturally they flow to you. Mildred, a poet whose verses remained hidden in leather-bound journals, discovered this truth in her own way. For years, fear of criticism kept her words prisoner. She would write beautiful lines, then lock them away, telling herself she wasn't ready. One morning, after reading a particularly moving poem to herself, she made a decision. "These words were given to me as a gift," she realized. "Who am I to keep them caged?" She began sharing her poetry without attachment to praise or fear of judgment. To her surprise, her verses found their way to exactly the hearts that needed them. Her work began appearing in publications, touching lives in ways she never imagined possible. By releasing her grip on outcomes, she had allowed her gift to find its natural path. This principle flows through all creation. Your deepest desires are seeds planted in fertile soil. Your role is not to force growth, but to maintain faithful attendance while allowing nature's wisdom to unfold. Sacred practice. The release ritual. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Take a piece of paper and write down your heart's truest desire. Pour all your passion and vision into these words, making them as specific as you wish. Feel the full weight of your wanting as you write. Now comes the sacred act of release. You may choose to burn the paper safely, watching your words transform into smoke rising to the heavens. Or you may bury it in soil, symbolically planting your intention in the fertile earth. As you do this, speak these words or similar ones that resonate with your spirit. I release this desire to the wisdom of the universe, trusting that what is meant for me will manifest in perfect timing. I remain ready to receive while surrendering all attachment to the form it takes. This ritual creates a powerful, energetic shift, transforming anxious wanting into peaceful knowing. Chapter 18. The Alchemy of Emotion. In a village among ancient hills, Harlan the metalsmith stood before his forge. While others feared fire's destructive nature, he saw it differently. Each morning he would kindle his forge not with haste or aggression, but with reverence. The flames responded to his touch like faithful companions, transforming raw metal into objects of beauty and purpose. You possess within you a forge of similar power, your emotions. These sacred energies, which you may have been taught to suppress or fear, are actually the raw materials of spiritual alchemy. Just as Harlan learned to direct fire's intensity with skill rather than fight against it, you too can master the art of emotional transmutation. When anger rises within you, it offers the same potential as Harlan's forge, to destroy or to create. The choice lies not in denying the heat, but in directing it with wisdom. Your frustration can fuel determination. Your passion can ignite inspiration. Your grief can deepen compassion. Lois discovered this truth in her darkest hour. After losing her beloved sister, she found herself drowning in waves of sorrow. Rather than attempting to escape her pain, she began channeling it into her art. Each brushstroke became a prayer, each color a different note in her symphony of healing. The paintings that emerged touched others who were walking through similar valleys of shadow. Her grief, rather than consuming her, transformed into a light that guided others toward hope. This is the ancient wisdom of emotional alchemy. Every feeling that visits you carries seeds of transformation. When jealousy appears, it reveals where you yearn to grow. When fear emerges, it points toward opportunities for courage. When joy bubbles up, it shows you your soul's true direction. Sacred practice, the alchemist's art. When you feel a strong emotion arising, pause, place your hand over your heart and acknowledge its presence without judgment. Speak to it as Harlan spoke to his forge. I see you. I honor your power. Show me how to transform you into light. As you take this action, visualize your emotion as pure energy being reshaped, like metal in a forge, into something of beauty and purpose. Notice how the intensity remains while its expression transforms. This is not about controlling or diminishing your emotions, but about becoming their wise steward. Through this practice, you'll discover that every feeling is a sacred fuel, waiting to be transformed through the alchemy of your conscious awareness. Chapter 19. Spiritual Discernment and Illusion. In the bustling marketplace of life, Nathaniel sat at his worn wooden workbench, holding gems up to the light. Through years of patient study, his eyes had learned to catch the subtle differences between true precious stones and their cunningly crafted imitations. While others might be fooled by surface brilliance, he knew that authentic gems held an inner fire that no artificial stone could match. You too must develop this sacred art of discernment as you walk the path of manifestation. Just as a jeweler trains their eye to recognize true value, you must refine your spiritual senses to distinguish between authentic guidance and false glimmers that may lead you astray. The universe speaks in whispers, not shouts. Its true messages resonate with a quiet certainty in your heart, while ego-driven desires often come dressed in loud, insistent clothing. Like Nathaniel examining a gem's inner fire, you must learn to feel the subtle warmth of truth beneath surface appearances. Eleanor discovered this wisdom on her travels through distant lands. Eager to find her destiny, she followed every sign that seemed to promise quick fulfillment, elaborate prophecies, charismatic guides, and spectacular omens. Yet each led her further from her true path. It was only when she killed herself enough to hear her heart's quiet knowing that she found her way back to authentic guidance. The ancient ones taught that true discernment arises from the marriage of heart and intuition. Your heart holds the memory of your soul's purpose, while your intuition serves as a compass pointing toward truth. When both align, you experience a recognition beyond rational thought, a knowing that resonates through your entire being. False signs often appeal to your fears or desires, creating urgency or promising instant transformation. True guidance, like a genuine gem, has no need to prove itself. It simply is, carrying an unmistakable signature of authenticity that your refined spiritual senses will learn to recognize. Sacred practice, the jeweler's eye. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Bring to mind a recent decision or choice that still holds uncertainty. Close your eyes and place both hands over your heart. Breathe deeply and ask your heart to reveal its deeper knowledge about this situation. Notice any sensations that arise: warmth, coolness, expansion, or contraction. Pay attention to subtle feelings rather than loud thoughts. Like Nathaniel testing a gem's authenticity, allow your heart's wisdom to illuminate what is true and what is false. Remain in this space of receptivity until you feel a clear sense of recognition or until the confusion dissolves into clarity. Trust that your heart, like a master jeweler's eye, knows the difference between true guidance and false promises. Chapter 20. Becoming a Beacon. In the darkest hours before dawn, Ambrose climbed the winding stairs of his lighthouse, as he had done countless nights before. While others sought shelter from the raging tempest, he remained steady in his sacred duty. Through howling winds and crashing waves, his light burned constantly, unwavering, a beacon of hope for vessels lost in darkness. You, too, are called to become such a lighthouse, not through striving or seeking, but through allowing your inner radiance to shine with natural brilliance. The universe has planted within you a divine light that, when fully embraced, draws all good things naturally to your shore. Just as ships are guided by the lighthouse's steady beam, your aligned vibration becomes a magnetic force that effortlessly attracts matching opportunities, relationships, and circumstances. You need not chase or grasp. Your only task is to tend your inner flame with devoted attention. Lucille understood this truth intuitively. As she moved through her small schoolhouse, her presence alone transformed the atmosphere. Children who struggled elsewhere bloomed in her classroom. Parents found renewed hope after brief conversations. Fellow teachers gained inspiration simply by working nearby. She never forced these effects. They flowed naturally from her cultivated inner state. This magnetic radiance is your birthright. When you maintain your highest vibration, you become a living lighthouse, illuminating possibilities not just for yourself, but for all who cross your path. The universe delights in working through those who have learned to shine consistently, regardless of external conditions. Ancient wisdom teaches that we are meant to be beacons, not searchers. Your role is not to hunt desperately for what you seek, but to become so radiantly aligned that what seeks you can find you easily. Like Ambrose tending his light, or Lucille sharing her natural warmth, you must focus on maintaining your inner brilliance. The rest will follow with divine timing. Sacred practice, the Beacon Declaration. Take a moment now to write your personal beacon declaration. This is not a list of what you wish to attract, but rather a statement of how you choose to shine. Begin with the words, "I declare myself a beacon of," and let your heart complete the sentence. Write about the quality of light you wish to maintain, the consistent vibration you commit to holding, and how you will tend your inner flame each day. Place this declaration where you will see it daily, letting it remind you that your role is not to chase, but to shine. Part 3. Mastering the Unseen and Becoming the Light. Chapter 21. Living the Law of Readiness. In a valley blessed by ancient winds, Florence tended her garden with quiet wisdom. Each morning she would observe her plants without judgment or hurry. When neighbors questioned why she hadn't yet harvested certain crops, she simply smiled and said, "The earth knows its seasons." You stand now at the threshold of understanding one of the universe's most sacred principles. All manifestation flows according to divine timing. Just as Florence knew that no amount of will could ripen a fruit before its season, your desires materialize not through force but through spiritual readiness. The universe operates through natural law, not human impatience. When you align with these cosmic rhythms, manifestation becomes as natural as a flower opening to the sun. Your role is not to make things happen, but to cultivate the inner conditions that allow them to unfold naturally. Consider Oscar, the wandering bard who traveled from town to town seeking an audience for his songs. At each door, he knocked with increasing desperation until his knuckles were raw. Yet the more he pushed, the more doors remained firmly shut. It wasn't until he sat peacefully in the town square, playing simply for the joy of music itself, that the perfect door swung open of its own accord. This truth echoes through the ages. Being ready attracts more power than seeking. When you release the strain of forcing outcomes, you enter a state of natural magnetism. Your energy becomes like a well-tended garden, creating the perfect conditions for divine timing to work its magic. The universe responds not to your actions, but to your state of being. When you exist in harmony with this principle, what you seek begins seeking you. Like Florence's garden blooming right on time, or Oscar's music finding its destined audience, your desires manifest when the season of your soul aligns with cosmic timing. Sacred practice, the readiness mantra. Find a quiet space where you can sit undisturbed. Close your eyes and allow your breath to find its natural rhythm. Then, with each inhale, silently repeat, "When I am ready," and with each exhale, "What I seek will find me." Let this mantra settle into your being for at least 5 minutes. Feel how it gently shifts your energy from seeking to allowing, from forcing to flowing. Practice this meditation daily, preferably at sunrise or sunset when the natural world demonstrates its own perfect timing. Chapter 22. The Invisible Tapestry. In a small workshop lit by morning light, Phineas the tailor worked with steady hands, crafting garments with intricate patterns he couldn't explain. Day after day, his needle wove designs that seemed to flow through him rather than from him. Customers marveled at the mysterious beauty of his work, yet Phineas simply smiled, knowing he was merely the instrument of something greater. You, too, are weaving patterns beyond your current understanding. Each choice, each action, each moment of your life creates threads in an infinite tapestry. The universe works through you, as it worked through Phineas, crafting designs whose full beauty can only be witnessed from a higher perspective. When you release the need to comprehend every stitch of your journey, you align with the grand design already in motion. Your life is not a solo creation, but part of an interconnected masterpiece where every thread serves a divine purpose. The universe knows precisely how your unique patterns contribute to the whole. Consider Matilda, whose loom stood in a corner of her modest home. As she wove her tapestries, she began noticing how the patterns in her work would mysteriously appear in the lives of those who purchased them. A spiral design might precede a customer's journey of transformation. A river pattern often flowed into unexpected opportunities. Gradually, she understood that her hands were instruments of a wisdom greater than her own. Your experiences, like Matilda's patterns, ripple out in ways you cannot yet see. What appears as coincidence or chaos in the moment often reveals itself as essential preparation for what lies ahead. The universe wastes no thread, no experience, no encounter. When you trust in this greater design, you move through life with deeper grace. Rather than questioning each twist and turn, you recognize that every experience weaves you more fully into the fabric of existence. Your role is not to control the pattern, but to surrender to the master weaver working through you. Sacred practice, the thread of purpose. Take a quiet moment with your journal. Reflect deeply on 3 moments in your past that seemed random or challenging at the time, but later proved essential to your path. Write about how each experience connected to future events in unexpected ways. Notice how these seemingly separate threads wove together to create something meaningful in your life. Let this reflection strengthen your trust in the unseen purpose of your current circumstances. As you practice this reflection, feel how your awareness expands beyond the single stitch to glimpse the greater tapestry of your journey. Each thread you discover reinforces the truth that you are held within a divine design, always moving toward your highest good, even when the pattern remains hidden from view. Chapter 23. Manifesting Beyond Time. In the misty dawn at the old railway station, Winfield stood watching passengers arrive. Some rushed breathlessly, while others strolled peacefully, each moving according to an invisible rhythm he had come to recognize. Though his pocket watch marked precise minutes, he understood that true timing followed a different measure entirely. You, like Winfield, may have noticed that life moves according to a sacred schedule beyond human planning. The universe operates through divine timing, where readiness, not calendars, determines when dreams materialize. When your vibration aligns with your desire, time becomes fluid, bringing manifestation in what appears as an instant. The illusion of delay exists only in human perception. In truth, everything you seek exists now in a state of completion, waiting for your consciousness to rise to its frequency. Just as light needs no time to fill a darkened room once the switch is flipped, your manifestations require no time once your being resonates with their reality. Consider Josephine, whose letters seem to possess an uncanny wisdom of timing. She wrote when moved by intuition rather than obligation, and her words invariably reached their recipients at precisely the moment they were most needed. One letter arrived just as its reader faced a crucial decision. Another found its way to a grieving friend, exactly when comfort was most essential. Josephine learned to trust this mysterious orchestration, understanding that the universe's postal service operates beyond linear time. The power to collapse time lies in your ability to step outside its apparent limitations. When you fully embrace the reality of your desire in this moment, feeling it, living it, being it, you transcend the illusion of waiting. Time becomes your ally rather than your master, bending to accommodate the perfect unfolding of divine order. Sacred practice. Timeless completion. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths, allowing each exhale to release your attachment to time. Now, bring your desire into focus, not as something awaiting future fulfillment, but as a present reality. Feel the completion of this desire in every cell of your being. Experience the gratitude, joy, and peace of its manifestation as if it exists now. Let go of the when and how. Instead, sink into the knowing that in the eternal now, all things are already complete. Hold this feeling of completion for several minutes, allowing it to saturate your consciousness. This is not imagination. It is attunement to a reality that already exists in the timeless dimension of spirit. Remember, time is not a barrier to the universe, only to limited human thinking. Your role is not to wait, but to align with the eternal presence of your fulfilled desire. In doing so, you dissolve the perceived distance between where you are and where you wish to be. Chapter 24. Walking with the Divine Mind. In a small cottage overlooking rolling hills, Homer sat at his wooden desk, carefully inking delicate lines onto parchment. As his quill traced mountains and valleys, he noticed something extraordinary. The landscape outside his window began to shift, matching the contours flowing from his hand. With each stroke, reality reshaped itself, revealing the profound truth that consciousness shapes the world around us. You, too, are drawing the map of your existence with every thought, every feeling, every subtle movement of your inner world. The universe responds not to what you ask for, but to what you embody in the sacred chamber of your mind. Your consciousness is the quill that writes upon the infinite canvas of possibility. When you grasp this truth, you understand that you are not separate from the creative force of the universe. You are an extension of it, a living expression of divine mind in action. Every thought ripples through the fabric of reality. Every feeling sends waves through the ocean of potential. You are not merely observing the world, you are participating in its continuous creation. Consider Velma, who taught in a small schoolhouse at the edge of town. She discovered that when she held thoughts of love and potential for her students, their abilities blossomed in unexpected ways. Children others had labeled slow suddenly grasped complex concepts. Those deemed troubled found inner peace. She wasn't merely teaching. She was creating an environment of transformation through her conscious participation in divine mind. The power you possess is not about forcing change through will, but about aligning your thoughts with the infinite intelligence that orchestrates all creation. When you think from this elevated awareness, your thoughts become charged with creative power. When you feel from this understanding, your emotions become brushstrokes painting new realities. Sacred practice, divine mind activation. Throughout your day, pause regularly and affirm with deep knowing, I am one with the mind that creates worlds. Let this truth settle into your being not as mere words, but as living reality. Feel yourself as an active participant in the universe's creative process. Allow each thought to arise from this place of divine connection. knowing that you are not separate from the power that shapes existence. This practice is not about affirmation alone. It is about shifting your entire consciousness into alignment with your true nature as a co-creator with the divine. As you move through your day, watch how reality responds to this elevated awareness, just as the landscape responded to Homer's pen. Chapter 25. The Trials That Crown You. In the depths of the earth, where shadows dance with flickering lantern light, Irving descended into the mine each day, following veins of precious ore through twisting passages. One fateful morning, as he ventured deeper than ever before, the tunnels began to shift and groan. The support beams creaked ominously, and loose earth rained down from above. Most miners would have retreated, but Irving felt an inexplicable certainty that something extraordinary awaited beyond this trial. As each tunnel collapsed behind him, he pressed forward, guided by an inner knowing. When the last passage seemed to seal itself completely, he discovered what he had unknowingly sought all along, a massive vein of gold, more magnificent than any previously found in the region. The very obstacles that threatened to stop him had led him to his greatest discovery. You stand now at the threshold of similar initiations. The universe does not place barriers in your path to halt your progress, but to crown your evolution. Each challenge you face is a sacred forge, tempering your spirit and perfecting your readiness for what awaits beyond. These are not mere obstacles, but divine thresholds marking the boundaries between who you are and who you are becoming. Consider Estelle, whose hands trembled with each stroke of her brush. Canvas after canvas fell short of the vision burning in her soul. Yet each failure was secretly teaching her the mastery her masterpiece would require. When others urged her to abandon her art, she persisted, understanding at some deep level that her struggles were not punishment, but preparation. The day she finally created her masterpiece, she realized every previous attempt had been an essential step in her evolution. The trials you face are not random acts of cosmic cruelty, but precisely calibrated initiations. They arrive not to break your spirit, but to reveal its unshakable strength. What appears as resistance is often the universe's method of strengthening your resolve, deepening your wisdom, and ensuring you are truly ready for the magnitude of what you seek to manifest. Sacred practice, the alchemy of trials. Take your journal and reflect deeply on a challenge currently present in your life. Write about this experience not as a victim, but as an initiate undergoing a sacred transformation. Extract 3 hidden gifts this trial has already given you, perhaps patience you never knew you possessed, wisdom that could come no other way, or strength that only resistance could build. Let your writing reveal how this challenge is not opposing your journey, but perfecting it. See how, like Irving in the collapsing mine, what appears to be blocking your path may actually be guiding you toward greater treasures than you initially sought. Trust that, like Estelle, your failures are the hidden steps ascending toward mastery. Chapter 26. Receiving without resistance. In a bustling marketplace where fortunes rose and fell like the tides, Cornelius stood frozen before his ledger, unable to comprehend the numbers before him. His investments had multiplied tenfold overnight, yet instead of joy, his heart grew heavy with an inexplicable burden. Each time he attempted to withdraw his rightful earnings, his hands would tremble and retreat, as though touching the gold might somehow taint his soul. You too may recognize this resistance within yourself. The subtle way abundance sometimes feels forbidden, as though accepting good fortune might diminish your worthiness or take from others. Yet the universe operates not through scarcity, but through endless multiplication. When abundance flows toward you, it arrives as a sacred invitation to expand. Your acceptance of blessing is not an act of taking, but of participating in the universe's natural state of overflow. Just as a flower need not apologize for blooming or a river for flowing, you need not justify receiving what the universe freely offers. Consider Eudora, who spent decades caring for others until exhaustion dimmed her once bright spirit. When her sister insisted on giving her a month of rest at a peaceful countryside cottage, Eudora's first instinct was to refuse. "Others need it more," she protested. "I can manage." Yet something in her sister's gentle persistence helped her recognize that receiving care was not selfish. It was essential for her soul's renewal. During that month of rest, Eudora discovered that allowing herself to receive actually expanded her capacity to give. Her spirit, once depleted, became a wellspring of fresh energy. She returned to her caregiving with a profound understanding that receiving and giving are not opposite actions, but complementary phases of the same divine cycle. The universe seeks to flow through you, not around you. When you constrict your ability to receive, you unknowingly dam the river of abundance meant to nourish not only you, but all whose lives you touch. Your acceptance of good fortune creates ripples of possibility in countless directions. Sacred practice, the grace of receiving. For the next 7 days, practice the art of open receiving. When someone offers a compliment, resist the urge to deflect or minimize. Instead, simply say, "Thank you," and allow their appreciation to fill your heart. When opportunities arise, no matter how small, welcome them without questioning whether you deserve them. Keep a small notebook nearby and record each instance of receiving. A kind word, a helpful gesture, an unexpected gift, a moment of grace. Notice how your willingness to receive actually creates space for more abundance to flow, not just to you, but through you to others. Remember, the universe's gifts arrive not to test your humility, but to expand your capacity for joy. Your acceptance is an act of alignment with the natural flow of universal abundance. Chapter 27. Guarding Your Sacred Readiness. In the rolling hills where morning mist parts like ancient veils, Newton tends his flock with a presence both gentle and unwavering. His eyes scan the horizon not with anxiety, but with the calm alertness of one who understands that protection flows from presence rather than fear. You stand now at a similar threshold of consciousness, where what you have awakened within yourself must be guarded with equal vigilance. The universe has planted seeds of transformation in your soul, yet these sacred beginnings require protection from the wolves of doubt and the storms of distraction that would scatter your focus to the winds. Just as a shepherd knows that safety emerges not from constant worry, but from steady awareness, you too must learn to guard your spiritual readiness through quiet presence rather than anxious effort. Your awakening consciousness is like a newly kindled flame. It requires not frantic shielding, but careful tending. Consider Millie, whose hands have guided countless souls into the world. In the chaos of childbirth, When fears run high and emotions surge like tempests, she maintains an unshakable calm. Her strength lies not in controlling the storm, but in creating a protected space where new life can emerge in its own perfect timing. Through her steady presence, she guards the sacred threshold between worlds. This mirrors your own journey of manifestation. The energetic frequencies you have cultivated must be sheltered from the noise and chaos of lower vibrations. Like Millie, you must learn to create and maintain a sacred space within yourself, where your highest intentions can gestate and grow strong. Your spiritual readiness is not maintained through force or strain, but through devoted attention to your inner sanctuary. Each thought that crosses your mind, each emotion that stirs your heart, these are either guardians, strengthening your sacred space, or intruders, weakening its boundaries. Sacred practice, the guardian's ritual. Create a daily ceremony of spiritual protection that resonates with your soul's unique rhythm. This might begin with lighting a candle while speaking words of power, or drawing an imaginary circle of light around yourself while breathing deeply. You might invoke the 4 directions, or simply sit in silence while visualizing a golden shield of divine light embracing your energy field. The form matters less than the feeling. Let your ritual be one that centers you in an unshakable presence. Practice it each morning before engaging with the world, and return to it whenever you feel your energy field becoming vulnerable to external chaos. Remember, you are not defending against the world, but rather maintaining the pristine frequency of your awakening. Like Newton's quiet vigilance or Millie's steady presence, your protection comes from deep alignment with the sacred rather than resistance to the profane. Chapter 28. Radiant Surrender. In the velvet darkness of a moonless night, Hiram stood atop his observatory tower, his carefully drawn star chart scattered at his feet. For decades he had mapped the heavens with precise calculations and rigid methods. Yet on this night, as he released his grip on certainty, the sky revealed patterns he had never before witnessed. You too must learn to loosen your grasp on the familiar maps that have guided you. The universe speaks most clearly when you cease imposing your will upon its infinite design. This is not passive resignation, but rather an active state of luminous receptivity. When you release the need to control every outcome, to understand every step, a profound shift occurs in your energetic field. Like a flower opening to morning light, your being naturally expands to receive the abundance already flowing toward you. This is the paradox of spiritual surrender. In releasing all, you gain everything. Watch Clara, whose needle once fought against fabric, as she forced designs into being. Only when she allowed her hands to move in harmony with the thread did her most beautiful works emerge. Her surrender transformed struggle into grace, resistance into flow. This mirrors the greater truth of manifestation. Your desires manifest most powerfully not through forceful action, but through radiant allowing. When you trust the universe's infinite wisdom, you enter a state of divine cooperation. Your role is not to make things happen, but to allow yourself to be moved by the cosmic current already carrying you toward your highest good. The universe responds not to desperate grasping, but to open-handed receiving. Like Hiram discovering new constellations only after abandoning his rigid maps, your greatest manifestations await in the space beyond control. This is not about doing nothing. It is about flowing with rather than forcing against. Sacred practice, the surrender meditation. Find a quiet space where you can sit undisturbed. Bring to mind one desire that you have been striving to manifest. Feel its weight, its importance, all your hopes and fears about its fulfillment. Now, with each breath, begin to release this desire into the vast ocean of universal intelligence. Visualize yourself standing at the shore of an infinite sea. In your hands, hold a glowing orb containing your desire. Slowly, lovingly, place this orb into the water. Watch as it begins to float away, carried by currents far wiser than your limited understanding. Feel the lightness that comes with true surrender. Speak these words or similar ones that resonate with your heart. I release this desire into the infinite wisdom of the universe. I trust that what is meant for me will flow to me in perfect timing. I am open to receiving in ways that exceed my imagination. Remain in this state of trustful surrender for as long as feels right. Notice how releasing control creates space for magic to enter. Chapter 29, Beyond Wanting into Knowing. In the misty dawn, Sylvia climbed the lighthouse steps each morning, not with anxious anticipation, but with serene knowing. Though ships remained invisible beyond the horizon, she felt their presence as surely as she felt the sun's warmth on her face. Her father had taught her that true faith requires no constant validation. You stand now at this same threshold of transformation. The universe beckons you to release the habit of searching, scanning, and straining for evidence that your desires are manifesting. This final shift in consciousness, from hoping to knowing, marks the supreme state of vibrational readiness. When you truly know something, you need not check on it repeatedly. Consider Floyd, who placed letters into the postal system with absolute certainty they would reach their destinations. He never worried whether each envelope was moving properly through the sorting facilities. He simply knew the system would work as it always had, carrying his messages faithfully to their recipients. This unwavering certainty is your natural state. The universe operates with perfect precision, requiring no supervision from you. Your role is to align with this divine efficiency by cultivating unshakable knowing. When doubt arises, remember that the sun does not question whether it will rise tomorrow. The flowers do not wonder if spring will return. They simply know. Your manifestations operate under this same cosmic law of certainty. What is meant for you is already yours in the unseen realm. Your task is not to make it happen, but to match its energetic certainty with your own. When you truly know something is yours, you release the need to constantly check for signs of its arrival. Like Sylvia in her lighthouse, adopt the stance of one who knows. She did not pace the tower, scanning desperately for ships. She simply maintained the light, trusting in the perfect orchestration of arrivals and departures. This is the consciousness that marks true spiritual maturity. The ability to rest in absolute knowing while the universe arranges all details perfectly. Sacred practice, the certainty. Affirmation. Each morning upon waking, before your mind can fill with doubts or questions, speak these words with the full power of your being. It is already mine. It is already done. Feel the truth of these words in every cell of your body. Let them resonate through your entire energy field. Speak them not as a hope or wish, but as a statement of fact, like declaring the sky is blue or water is wet. Repeat this affirmation throughout your day whenever uncertainty tries to creep in. Let it become the foundation of your consciousness, the lens through which you view all manifestation. For in absolute knowing lies the key to receiving all that is already yours. Chapter 30. The Revelation You Were Born For. In a remote mountain village, Luther stood transfixed as darkness swept across the land. The moon's shadow crept over the sun, revealing a cosmic dance that had been orchestrated since the beginning of time. In that moment of perfect alignment, he understood. He was precisely where the universe had always intended him to be. You too stand at such a threshold of revelation. The ancient wisdom keepers spoke of moments when the veil between worlds grows thin, when what was hidden becomes gloriously apparent. These are not merely events in time, but gateways through which the soul recognizes its own divine positioning. The universe operates through precise spiritual mechanics. Just as each celestial body must reach its exact position for an eclipse to manifest, your consciousness must attain specific vibrational alignments before higher truths can be revealed. This is not about worthiness, but readiness. Consider Martha, whose weathered hands discovered an aged scroll tucked within her grandmother's Bible. As she unfolded the delicate parchment, her eyes fell upon words written decades before her birth, a prophecy describing her current life with uncanny accuracy. The revelation came not a moment too soon or too late, but precisely when her soul had ripened to receive it. These moments of unveiling arrive as natural culminations of your spiritual journey. Like fruit falling from a tree at the perfect moment of ripeness, truth reveals itself when your consciousness has matured to embrace it. Every step you have taken, every challenge you have faced, has been preparation for this sacred recognition. The law of divine timing ensures that revelation occurs at the exact instant when it will serve your highest evolution. Trust that your current position, physically, mentally, and spiritually, is no accident. You have been guided here through countless invisible adjustments, each one aligning you more precisely with your destiny. Sacred practice, the gratitude ceremony. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Light a single candle, allowing its flame to represent the eternal light of wisdom. Settle into deep meditation, allowing your breath to become slow and rhythmic. As you sit in the candlelight's glow, offer gratitude for every step of your unseen journey. Thank the challenges that strengthened you. Honor the delays that prepared you. Bless the obstacles that taught you. Appreciate the doubts that deepened your faith. Acknowledge the confusion that led to clarity. Embrace the darkness that made you seek light. Let each expression of gratitude illuminate another facet of your path's perfect unfolding. Know that every moment has served your awakening, leading you inevitably to this point of recognition. Conclusion. Through these sacred chapters, you have walked an ancient path of remembrance. Each teaching, each practice, each moment of revelation has awakened something that has always lived within you. The universe's hidden architecture now stands revealed, not as distant theory, but as living wisdom flowing through your being. You understand now that manifestation is not a technique to be mastered, but a state of being to embody. The signs and synchronicities that once seemed mysterious now speak to you in clear tones. The pause between intention and manifestation no longer feels like waiting, but like sacred preparation. Your vibrational signature has shifted. Where once you sought evidence, you now rest in knowing. Where you once pushed against time, you now flow with divine timing. The universe is no longer a distant force to petition, but an intimate ally in your becoming. This transformation transcends the chapters of this book. It lives in your cells, pulses through your dreams, and shapes the very field of possibility around you. You have learned to trust the unseen, to honor the sacred pause, to recognize readiness as it blooms within you. The ancient wisdom keepers knew this moment would come, when seekers like you would remember their true nature as co-creators with the divine. Your journey has aligned you with forces that have guided souls since time immemorial. You stand now in that lineage, carrying forward these timeless truths. Let this not be an ending, but a threshold into deeper communion with the universe. Every breath draws you further into alignment. Every heartbeat attunes you more precisely to cosmic rhythms. You are ready, not because you have learned these teachings, but because you have become them. The universe celebrates this moment with you, for another light has awakened to its full radiance. Move forward now, knowing that all of creation conspires to support your continued unfolding. You are ready, you are aligned, you are becoming. Your journey doesn't end here. Click on this next audiobook that I promise will completely transform your perspective.